Acompáñanos y descubre los efectos especiales de Dante'S.
I think something like 4 months to build the enormous construction of this dam and the water delivery system.
En lugar de usar gráficos digitales, el equipo construyó un pueblo completo, solo para destruirlo. Casas reales, vehículos, calles enteras montadas en un rancho de Idaho. Para la escena en la que el río se convierte en ácido, usaron una mezcla de productos químicos seguros, humo y pintura sobre el agua para simular el efecto mortal. La lava fue creada con iluminación, humo espeso y un líquido denso con burbujas de vapor simulado. El movimiento fue grabado en miniatura y a cámara lenta para parecer masivo. Todo el sistema de explosiones y nubes de ceniza se filmó en un cañón natural, sin CGI. Usaron bombas de polvo, turbinas de viento y control absoluto de las tomas. Uno de los efectos más difíciles fue la destrucción del puente con el auto de los protagonistas. Fue una combinación de miniatura del río, fusionado con el set real y con partes movibles y agua controlada. Los técnicos que crearon la lava para Dante'S tuvieron que usar una mezcla de goma, aceite y pintura metálica para evitar que destruyera los sets. Aún así, se quemaron varios modelos miniatura.
Fox had Volcano and Universal had Dante's Peak. And usually when two studios come out with a movie about the same time, one of them just says, well, we're not going to do ours, we're going to wait till next year. But they decided to do this little, we're going to bring ours out before yours. And they started stepping the release dates back from the summer. And the last one they did, I thought, I don't know if we could actually do the work this fast. It was going to be incredibly fast. So that was a really tough show because we were racing Volcano. And oddly enough, we all knew each other. I knew Matt Beck, who was the supervisor, and Mike Chambers, the producer. We'd all worked together. I didn't know what they were doing. I didn't really talk to anybody. I didn't have time to talk to anybody. But out at the Van Nuys Airport, we built this enormous, the guys, Alan Fauché ran the shop, built this enormous miniature of a whole valley that floods. And Richard Stutzman was my effects guy that sort of rigged these 2 Humvees and a van to go over this bridge. The bridge is being swamped by the water. They built a breakaway dam that was beautiful. And then inside the buildings we built various scales of the town that is destroyed by this pyroclastic flow. This an explosion of basically hot ash and dust, and it just blows the buildings apart. And that was a crazy shoot. It was 24/7. I mean, we were working just nonstop, and we got it done. I don't know how, but I had an excellent crew on it. And it was sort of all the same guys as usual. The guys that weren't on Volcano or on Dante's Peak or Batman. And I think also Boss was doing one of the Harrison Ford 747 Air Force One or something. I don't know. There was a lot of stuff going on, so we were sort of strapped for people. We were running out of people. And Dante's Peak must have been, I think it must have been by sheer size, the largest model built, because the center was I think it was a 100-foot diameter steel tank that was up 40 feet on special scaffolding that could hold some 7 million pounds when we had all the water. It was about 400,000 or 500,000 gallons of water. And it served both models. It served the flooding valley and also the dam. They were all built together. So these hydraulic doors would open, water would go down this big chute, and they would throw debris in, and that would be it's called Lahar, the little valley that gets flooded with the bridge. And then over on this side, we go and shoot the dam breaking, and it was pretty amazing, I got to say. It took me a while to sort of figure out, because I was just rushing. And
when you have model makers that they got nothing better to do than to put elements of their past and personality into the models. Thanks to Chris Dawson, I think Gumby showed up a few places. Probably got removed. You know, I think he got set up in places where there was a green screen. So Gene Rosardi, he'll tend to put a Godzilla into every set somewhere. So if you're looking around in shows, you'll see Godzilla. Some guys like to put little R2-D2s on every model that they make. And so if you look real hard on, there's a couple of the Fifth Element models had an R2-D2 on them.
You know, doing miniatures, even running the shop, one thing I found about the supervisor, your ass is out there on the line. You're dealing with the director and the producer and all these people. And I really hadn't done that very much. You know, I'd done it in 2 little movies, but this was a big deal. So the director wanted what he wanted, the studio wanted what they wanted. You get sort of pulled, and I was not great at the political stuff then. So it was very stressful and sort of new to me. You know, so I look at the models going, I'm glad I'm not doing that. Although I would rather have done it, because I got to say, the happiest times of my life are when I had a model on my desk and I was making something and I didn't have to worry about somebody not coming back for the coffee break on time, or this thing costing too much from the company that's selling us, or not getting here on time. I'm just making something. This is all I have to focus on. I would just work on stuff and I look at my watch, and instead of being 8 o'clock, it was now 12:30, time for lunch. The time would just fly. I'd never done anything that big before. It was just a big sort of blur to me. But I had really good people that I was working with, and we somehow pulled it off. And again, model guys pulling together, doing some amazing work, and that's the only way we got it done. That's the only, if it had been a different group of people, we would have never made it. But they were happy it got done at Universal. They made it, and they beat Volcano.
No olvides suscribirte y déjanos tus comentarios.